Oh hey, welcome to my curtain fort. Hey, it's Emma. So today I have a little project. It's more hand sewing. You can see I've taken up these curtains, I've not taken up this side yet. Curtains that are not the right length are a big pain. They drag across the floor, they just don't hang right. I think this is the perfect way to kind of finish off a room. It's almost as important as having really nice lighting. I think having really nice curtains just finishes off a room and makes it look very well presented. Already done this one and I'm about to take you along with me with the second half. Because I'm short, it's a big bother to unhook the curtains and take them down. So I have a lazy method for being able to hem the curtains when they're actually still hanging. The thing to do is figure out exactly how long you want your curtains to be. I think this is the perfect length. It does touch the carpet at some points. You can see a little bit of light poking through. Okay, so the best way that I have found to get the curtains to be the perfect length is to work with pegs. So I peg up the curtain at a guesstimate and then let it hang and see how it looks. All I'm going to do is fold them up and pin them. So when I've found the right place, I just do a pin. I just do a pin on the outside. These curtains also have liners, so make sure that your liners are nicely folded in, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of a mess. I measure and peg my way along, and you can see this shows really nicely how it's hanging. It's also really flexible to just be able to move the pegs. So when I'm happy with what length I want it to be, then I'm ready to actually add pins. And because I'm going to show you the lazy method, all of the pinning, the ironing and the sewing from the ironing board, I don't take the curtains down at all. Welcome to my curtain cave. So this is the easiest way that I know how. Yeah, I can't really explain it. It means I don't need to take the curtains off the rail. So I basically go along with a tape measure and I will measure up and pin along all the way. So I measure every single pin that I add, and I also make sure that the lining is draping over nicely. Sometimes the lining fabric has a tendency to ruche up underneath, so just make sure that is hanging perfectly. I like to pin the curtains when they're hanging over the ironing board because it gets such a good drape. So now I get the iron out and I just want to give the new edge a good press. So I keep the curtains on the ironing board and I start sewing. This is a hemming whip stitch, nothing fancy. I just sew the old bottom edge to the lining fabric, and I don't want to go all the way through or the stitches will be seen from the room. So every single stitch I just pull up a little bit to make sure that I'm only sewing on the liner. If you don't have a liner, be really careful that you're not sewing all the way through and just pick up a few threads if you can. And I matched my thread, but I hope you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So I sew by hand the full hem length. Honestly, it won't be as bad as you think. This length took me 45 minutes. Find a podcast, phone a friend, it'll be grand. Now, when I get to the edges, the left and the right side of the hem, I seal them up as neatly as I can with a blind hem. The sides will be the most visible part, so I open up the end section as if we're kind of looking inside, and I snake between each of the sides on the inside edge, and then when I pull the thread through, the sides zip up together. And then I finish everything up with a few knots on the end. I know the blind stitch might be the trickiest part, so I'm going to show you the other side just to be clear. They zip up together. So I personally don't mind having the long hem on the curtains. I don't like cutting the curtains, it feels too permanent for me. Another benefit of leaving it with a long hem is that it adds weight to it, so it makes it hang nicely, and I think the ironing board is the single most useful thing for me to have hemmed these curtains. So the bottom is finished, but now let's tidy up the top. You see, this side looks lovely, but the other side is sagging a little bit. So these are pencil pleat curtains, and this means they've got 3 strings running across the top that you can adjust the width of the curtains. So I just measured out a half length of the window, and I ruched up the curtain with the strings to make it the right width. And then I tied off the strings with a slip knot and tucked them in the end. Next I'm adding curtain hooks every 4 loops and making them point down the way. So here are the finished curtains. They're the perfect width, they are the perfect length, and I think they look wonderful. So, I hope my curtain cave adventure was useful for anyone who is wanting to hem curtains. And if you want to see more lifestyle videos, crafty creations, then feel free to stick around and subscribe. I am a PhD student living in Scotland, so if you want to see more, you know what to do. And for now, that's everything I've got for you, but I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye!